welcome to the very first show of 2023, Conversations with Geoff, baby. Oh, you're in for a treat. Like I always say, I don't think we've let you down yet. The guest we've got waiting to come out here is going to blow your mind, boy. All right. So let me thank everybody that supported us through 2022. Now we're into a new year, and we're really excited about our growth plan and our model and the support we've gotten from you folks. So those of you that are new to our show, welcome. And just a couple quick things we ask, and it's really important that you do, is make sure you subscribe, like, and tag friends, and pass this message along. Drop your name and where you're from in the comments, and hey, give us some love on what you like, and give us some feedback on anything that we can do to continue to develop and bring a show to you that people love to hear. All right? Because our whole mission is to empower, encourage, and inspire people to understand the gift and the power of changing the conversation you have with yourself about yourself. My name is Geoff Tyson. And why is this so important to me? Because I grew up as a kid that really, struggled with my belief system and all those other things, even though I had caring and loving parents, man, but their life gave me hope because they focused on only the things that they can control. I mean, they had dreams and goals and objectives, and man, they worked their tails off to do that. And they shared with me that I am of value. So listen to me if you have any. I know I'm not the only one that had some of those issues growing up, and they still may be lingering now. So if they are, you found home, baby. Right? Let me give you a virtual hug and welcome you to the show. And we always give you some homework. And today's homework is going to be simple. I think I want to leave you with taking down one thing from this show that you can take and put into your life right now, whether it be in business, your relationship with spouse, family, whatever it might be, health related, mentally, spiritually, and physically. It's going to fit somewhere, because the power of your choice all starts with the message that you listen to and then the actions that you take. Okay, so hey, listen, let me get to why we're here. Our speaker that's coming up, she is a powerful lady, CEO of Operations Creator, leader of the Stop Self-Bullying Movement. Wow, that's deep. Hopefully we can get a lot more about what that's all about. Woman of Worth platform, the founder of that platform, 11-time best-selling author with some really powerful books, network marketing person for over 25 years, successful network marketing career over that, mentoring, speaking, team building. Look, get your notepad out, get your coffee, whatever you need, sit down and help support our guest and enjoy her today. And help me welcome Sherri Leopold to the stage. Hey, Sherri.
Hey, Geoff. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here with you.
Oh, boy, I am too, and thank you for carving out some time and let's just kind of get to it, because I want the audience to see all of you they can in the next 20 minutes. How's that?
Awesome. I appreciate you. And I loved your message. It's so important.
Thank you. And looking at you and understanding a little bit more about you and looking at all the things you've done, I'm not sure where to start, but let's just kind of figure out where you are today, and then we'll back into it. How's that?
Sure. No worries. So I believe I am the person today because of all the things that I've been through. And one of the most important things I feel like I do today is truly sitting in a place of which I can empower people. I work a lot with women specifically, but my goal is to help you stand up and stand out as that unrepeatable miracle that you are. No qualifiers, not when I lose 20 pounds, when I find the perfect mate, when I get this job, when I get this project done, when I make 6 figures, when I do this. It's none of those things. It's exactly as you are at this precise moment that you are amazing.
Yeah. And I wrote down the word qualifiers.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of goes back to how we started the show. What are you qualifying who you are each and every day, right? I mean,
100%. And I think people get stuck on that, right? Whether it's in relationships, whether it's in a work environment, whether you're an entrepreneur, we have these things and we set these benchmarks, if you will, that are like, well, if we get here, then this is this means I'm great or I'm good or whatever. But the reality is you're good the moment you start. And I do like to bring science into that equation, in that, you know, when I'm saying an unrepeatable miracle, I'm not necessarily saying that from a religious standpoint. I'm saying it as an extraordinary one of a kind, because your DNA is not repeated anywhere else on this planet. In almost 8 billion people, there's not a single soul that's exactly like you. And that's on purpose, right? And which means your purpose, as it was designed for you, is yours and yours alone. And your message that you deliver to the world, whether it's through relationships or in a work environment, can only come out exactly as it's meant for you, from you. And that is the one of a kind uniqueness that you have. And when you realize and harness the power of that piece of information, that you are that unique, you can do just about anything you set your mind to.
Wow. You know, I was just listening to you share all that, and a thought came to mind. I mean, I agree 1,000% about what you said, and you know, and it's true. But what about that person out there that is so far away from that? You know, that life has just beat them up, and you know, whatever it might be, financially, relationship, health. What can we say to those folks out there, Sherri, that they can experience the gift that we all have?
I think it's that first step that you take, and I like to phrase it as minding your mind. And that's that step that you take, that you realize that everything in your life, business, relationship, whatever it is, your ability to make money, all begins with a choice. And I'm always heard as saying, choices create change. Change your choices, and your choices change. It's that one first step that you take towards anything. And that step is a choice, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, in reference to your question, whatever it is that you want to do first, you can't do everything. That's part of where overwhelm will keep you like, I don't know where to start. I'm not happily married. I don't have a spouse. I don't have money. I don't have the best job. You know, like, dealing with all of it at one time is too much, right? You have to start with one thing and take one step, make one choice. And when you make that baby step and that first choice, you will then be presented with many other choices, because when you do something different happens. So like, I have all these things. People keep telling me I need to write a book. I need to write a book on like Sherri-isms, right? One of them is when I always say, when you do nothing, you get nothing. When you do something, you'll get something. And even if it's not what you wanted or exactly what you wanted, you'll have something to work with.
Yeah.
That's that one step. Pick something.
Yeah.
Is it that you want to find somebody that is a great partner? Well, you know what? If you just say, well, I would just like to be in love, that's not enough. That's not even making a choice. That's just making a wish. Yes. Right? If you really wanted to make a choice, you'd make a list of exactly what that person looked like, what they sounded like, how they made you feel, what they did to make you feel those ways. See, that's a small choice. Creating exactly what that person looks like, because here's the thing. When you know what it looks like, you'll know it when you see it. Wow. That's that one tiny step. Know what you're looking for, right?
Yeah.
Same with the job. You know, if you're looking for a better job, what does a better job mean? Those are just words, right? Define that job. Define what it is. You'll have a much greater odds of finding the thing that lights you up, right?
Wow, you know, and I wrote down be specific and then be bold, and from a spiritual perspective, have bold.
You know what, Geoff? Why wouldn't you be bold? I started that out with saying you're 1 in 8 billion. What do you mean? You're bold just being. Like, own your power, right? Say, man, I'm amazing. I had no idea I was that special. Well, you are. You are that special. And because you're that special, you have the capability to be bold and take that step or a giant leap. I mean, nobody even said you had to take a baby step. You can to get started, but you might, jump off the roof instead, like that kind of leap. And that's okay too. You have to start somewhere. I believe that, action is everything. That's why I said do nothing, get nothing. There's no surprise there. If you do nothing and you don't make any of those steps, that nothing new happens.
Right.
Inaction is an action.
Right. And then, but some people say, well, I'm doing this and I'm doing that. And then, so what's your roadmap? They have fuzzy vision.
Correct.
Right? And they just spin their wheels.
Yeah. And in my book that I wrote, Self-Bullying, What to Do When the Bully Is You, I talk about the journey to success land. And success land, what I mean by that is when you set a goal or have a purpose or you want to reach something, there are road signs all the way along that journey, right? There are signs to tell you that you're going the right way. And I always say, when you pick that, this is the thing when you're talking about it being fuzzy, do you really know where you're going? Do you know the vehicle that you're going to use to get there? Do you have the people in your vehicle that you need to get successfully there, which are the mentors and the people who have gone that direction before, right? The people who can say, ooh, you might want to run that by me. That doesn't seem right. Who are going to give you the guidance, right? That's part of your GPS. Those people are part of your GPS in that plan. You're going to hit detours. But the thing is, if you really want something, like you want that partner or you want that job, if you have to detour and you date 17 people that are not like the person that you wanted, does that mean you don't want them anymore? No, it means you might have had to go around something to get to what you want. You don't quit when you know what you're after.
Yeah. But that's part of that, is seeing everything as a stepping stone versus a roadblock too, though, isn't it?
100%. You're going to have roadkill too. You're going to have people that slow down in front of you. I mean, I talk all about that. You're going to have, the thing is, it doesn't change your destination if you know where you're going.
Yeah.
That's because somebody slows you down, or a life circumstance, which is a very common thing. I've had my parents pass away and different things. That didn't stop me from what my ultimate goal was, which is to help people stand up and stand out, right? And to say I'm amazing and I know it and it's okay. And if you think I'm bragging, it's okay. That's your problem, not mine. I speak my truth, right? Those life circumstances didn't change what my mission was, right? So I feel like, we're going to have those things. We just have to know they're going to be there and say, well, I see you slowing me up, but it doesn't change my mission.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to keep going. I realized I just had to detour. Now I had to move, and that changed. Now I have all this stuff to do, but it doesn't change where I'm going. The key is to always know where you're going, what that destination is.
And you said something else in addition to that, with the people in your car, right? Because when the roadblocks come up, sometimes it's the people in the car that are throwing the roadblocks out there.
Yeah, well, 100%. And that's why, to say you have, Dr. Phil says this, and I love his book on life strategies. Number 4 is you get one life to manage and it's yours.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. You get to be a supporting role in other people's life, and the thing is, I liken it in the journey in the car. Those are sometimes backseat drivers.
Yeah.
They're back there going, hey, are you sure you want to do that? Oh, I don't know if that's, but here's the thing. The people that are in your car, Geoff, those are the people who understand your purpose, your mission, you know where you're going. And they're the people that you want along for the ride, because they're going to tell you when you're going off course. They're not there to put you off course. Those other people can be in the car following along behind, because that's where they belong. The only ones in your car are the ones who are locking arms with you to say, I'm going to help you, Geoff, get to that destination.
That's right. The whole gift and power of accountability.
100%.
But you have to really see yourself valuable enough sometimes, right, to have something to be accountable for.
Right. And you have to be able to set the goals. I mean, some people just, I always say, you know, when you're going on the journey to success land, you wouldn't go, oh, how are you getting there? Well, I don't know. I think I'm going to do a course, or I think I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. No, I'm like, what's the vehicle? Is the gas? Do you have fuel? Do you have a GPS? Do you have the map? Do you have something that's going to tell you whether you're going the right way or not? You know, when you're going down the highway, you see signs. And when you see that sign, you know, oh, I'm going the right way. There are signs along the way for success in relationships, in business, in all of it that tell you you're on the right course. The people that you bring along with you, I call them farm hands, because friends and relatives matter. That's farm. Those people, your farm hands, are the ones who are like cheering you on. They're also there to help you be a sounding board. If you have that moment where you're like, I don't know what I'm doing, maybe I'm not doing the right thing, they're there to remind you why you're there and why you told them what you wanted.
Yeah. Well, I love the word farm. So that's friends
and relatives matter.
Relatives matter. What about the relatives that are part of that are spouses or siblings, or have a really impact on how you see yourself day to day? Your life. What do you do with those folks out there that are struggling in that space?
Well, the interesting thing is, like, when I'm talking about farm hands in the book, and I talk about what your farm is, I talk about you're creating that farm. So there are people that fall into that category that will not be one of your farm hands. They're not part of your farm. The farm hands are the ones who are there to help you succeed at the highest possible level ever. If they have their own issues, they don't put them on you. You know, you're going to have friends and relatives that are like, oh, he just thinks he's all that and whatever, right? Like, those people are not your farm hands. Your farm hands are the ones, if you think about farm hands on a farm, they're the ones that make it run efficiently, right? That get the work done. They're there to help you succeed in your mission.
Yeah. I mean, and the farmer is one of the great American work ethics. Is all goes back to the farming and creating sustainability for us that like to eat. Right?
100%.
Yeah. It just, man, I find so many people that are just hung up in that space. I hope they hear this message. And so, how do they shift? How do they get out of that car? They're in the car that's going backwards. How do they get out of that and get into the other car?
Well, and that goes back to the mind your mind. You know, you can't really get in the car to go somewhere with a mind that is cluttered or is not clear on where you want to go, because that goes back to the Dr. Seuss, you know, if you don't know where you're going, any road will get you there. It's the same thought process, right? Like, if you don't know who you are, you'll just wait for people to tell you who you are. And that whole process comes before even setting a goal. You know, I'm very passionate, Geoff, and I know you know this, about falling in love with yourself. I talk about this a lot, you know, and in business, we often hear people say, oh, well, you know, you do business with people who know, like, and trust you. But I think there's a step before that. I believe that's true. That saying is true. It's been proven to be true. But the thing that precipitates that step is, do you know you? Do you like you? And do you trust you? Would you do business with yourself? That comes far before you ever sharing with anyone else. And that part is exactly what you just asked about the people in the car. Well, they haven't done that piece. They don't know themselves. They don't like who they are. And you don't need to like yourself. You need to love yourself beyond measure. You need to know that you're that unrepeatable miracle, that there's no one like you. That's part of the love yourself process, right? And the thing is, do you trust you? You know, if you don't trust you, if you're in any kind of sales or anything you're doing, nobody will join you, or they'll join you a one and done.
Right.
I'll buy from you once and then there I go.
Right.
I have people that have bought from me for over 25 years.
Yeah.
You know, no matter what I was doing. And that comes from relationship, right? And the know, like, and trust.
Yeah.
But I'll be very clear. I know myself very well. You know, I love myself more than anybody else does because I love who I am and how I was created. And I trust myself implicitly, which means you can trust me.
Yeah. And that kind of just oozes out of you, you know, and is a key thing that people see that with. But I have to ask, because, you know, I always kind of tug at my guest a little bit. So you obviously powerful person today, but, you know, that person that you may not have been, that had to do some, I wrote down unpack. And you said, do you know yourself? You know, there's some unpacking for me and like others, unpacking of things that I carried around for a long time so I could really kind of get back to being comfortable accepting me as who I was. How was that journey for you? Or did you experience something different around that?
Yeah, I grew up in a home where there was domestic violence. So it wasn't directed at me, but I watched my mother be abused for years. And that leaves an impact. It leaves scars. It leaves emotional things that kind of rear up later on. And, you know, I like to think that you always have a choice, right? And really, I think this really came to the forefront for me within the past probably 3 to 4 years. My mom passed away in August, but and she was always one of the strongest people I've ever known. And I never understood why in that one area, to me, it appeared she was weak. But as I grew up to be an adult, I realized she did the best she had with what she knew.
Yeah.
But what happened was she decided that after 17 years, she'd had enough of that. She made the choice to get out, and it stopped when she said, I mean, she literally put her finger up and said, "Don't you ever do that again." And that was, see, choices created change. When she changed that, her choices changed because he was like, "Oh, okay, that's the end of that." Like, I can't do that to her anymore. It's not allowed. Like, right. She and she did it more emphatically than that. Won't go into the details, but it was very clear to him that that changed very dramatically. And what happened then is her opportunities and her choice, what she could do changed. That's why I'm always saying choices create change. You change your choices and your choices change. It was that small step to say, stop, I'm done with this, that forced him to respond in a different way.
Yeah.
She changed with her action. She changed his reaction, right?
Yeah. And that kind of all goes back to the whole premise of our show about, you know, the choices fed by the thoughts that we have.
100%. And, you know, and in terms of myself, what I saw, that just cemented as an adult for me that was true. And I remember I had the choices create change epiphany while I was on a walk about 3 years ago. And I was like, and I'm often heard saying, I don't do the same thing twice ever. And you're experiencing this right now, I know. But like, the thing is, it's because I love change and I love choice. And when people say they don't like change, I'm like, oh my gosh, I love it. It's like amazing to me.
Yeah.
I live for change.
Yeah.
Because I realized about myself, I always have to have choices. But the thing is, a pet peeve of mine is when people say, oh, I didn't have a choice. Oh, but you did. You have unlimited choices. Actually, it's not even just one. When you come to a situation or a stop sign, this is something I would give to your viewers. This is a gold nugget here.
All right.
Come to a spot when you think, oh, I don't have a choice. This sucks. I don't want to do this. Listen, I would say maybe they seem like they're all crappy choices. One will be less crappy. Pick one, right?
Yeah.
You know, action is always rewarded, right?
Yes.
Make a choice. And here's the thing. If you go, oh, that was stupid, guess what? You have 1,000 other choices you get to make the next moment.
Right.
You don't get to just make one. So, inaction is a choice. And then if you don't take action, you're stuck in reaction mode instead of action mode. You relinquish your power when you don't make a choice, because then you have to wait till something happens. It's usually always not something good. And if it was not going to be good anyway, wouldn't you want to pick the crappy most are prepared to deal with?
Yeah.
I mean, there's that part. So, what? Stand up and stand out. Choose, make the choice. Find out what's open to you, because when you do nothing, you get nothing. When you do something, you get something. And maybe it wasn't exactly what you wanted, but you have something to work with.
Yeah.
But you're still in the driver's seat. And that's the important part. You stayed in the power position.
But you mentioned the driver's seat. But most people, and it's been proven, are not comfortable and don't really make decisions. Right. So how do you tell that person that's in that space that, the whole idea of making any kind of decision frightens them, let alone one that is, carries a bunch of baggage behind it? As we kind of wind down, what can you share about that? Because I know you have something for our viewers.
Sure. I think that one of the things I would just encourage you to remember is that, when you mind your mind, meaning you're paying attention to your inner voice. I call inner voice Ivy, which happens to be my beautiful name. But I call her Ivy, and that's inner voice that runs on repeat. This is the thing I would tell every single person. When you're talking about choices, you're talking about what you're going to do for your life, your partner, this and that. Everything comes back to inner voice. What you say to yourself. Your voice is the loudest voice you'll ever hear. It's also the most important. And people say, oh, do you talk to yourself? Yeah, in my head. Listen, everybody talks to themselves in their head. It's how we're wired and how we're made.
Yes.
Guess what? The thing that most people forget, Geoff, is that voice running in your head is your voice.
Yeah.
When you reach up and grab hold and understand fundamentally that I control this voice, you become the one in charge.
Yeah.
You can choose to say something different. You can choose to change the narrative. You don't have to say, I'm broke. I've always been broke. You don't need, that's you repeating what somebody else said to you.
Yeah.
Some way. You know what? Grab Ivy and choke her. And say, no, I am living abundantly. I am a money machine, whatever you're saying, right?
Yes.
That's the affirmation, but grab hold of it and never forget that you have control of the voice. You can stop it at any time. Your brain is like the computer chip in your computer, right? Like, your computer, if it's just sitting there, doesn't do anything until you start whacking on the keys.
That's it.
Or you push a button somehow.
Yeah.
Same with inner voice.
Yeah.
You have control. Be careful which program you run. Choose the program. Get rid of the viruses that are running, because that's literally what those programs are. They're fraught with viruses.
Yes.
And if you ever have a question, Geoff, I always think this is a really good tip. If you have a moment where you're thinking, I suck, or I'm just not good at anything, or maybe I'm not cut out for this, or whatever you're running through in that void, in the inner voice, ask yourself, just write it out on a piece of paper. Number one, is it true? Is what I'm saying actually true?
Yes.
The other thing is, and this is Dr. Amen, I'm a licensed brain trainer with Dr. Amen, and this is one of the series of things that he goes through when you're having these kind of negative thoughts. He calls them ants, which I love, automatic negative thoughts, which we have a tendency to do, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is, asking yourself, is it true? But also asking yourself, will this matter in 5 or 10 years? Whatever it is you're saying to yourself.
Yeah.
And those are really important questions to ask yourself. A lot of times it's not true.
Yeah.
And if I don't do anything with this, what will happen? What's the outcome?
Yeah.
You know, there's just there is a lot of ways to navigate those kinds of negative thoughts, but the number one thing is to grab it and go, I don't like it. I like to just take the whole thing like this, like I'm pulling it out, and I like throw it. I'll pitch it away.
Yeah.
I don't want that. That's not for me. And that's where you can come up with your own set of affirmations, your mantra, you know, that is personally designed for you. When you repeat that mantra over and over at the beginning of the day, anytime you have that and you go, wait, that's not for me, because my mantra is,
Yes.
I am here to impact the world in a positive way. Let
Yes.
me be the light today in somebody's life. Whatever that mantra is that you deem is yours, that you can marry your conscious and subconscious to,
Yes.
that's where the power resides, right? And you can take Ivy, throw her out, say no, and repeat the mantra. That's one of the ways that you can really start to get yourself off that negative center.
You know, I'm sitting there listening to you, thinking about all the different times that, you know, when I'm really fighting and I'm in the car sometimes and I'm like, yeah, throwing them off my shoulder, right, putting the other one on the other side. And in an instant, my state changes.
100%. And you know, I encourage people to use anchor words too. Like maybe it's a word that when you say it is equal to, it means something to you. And maybe it's just a word you say over and over and over. It might be love, 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 love. And why? Because you love yourself first. You love yourself enough to pattern interrupt that.
Yeah.
Right. And to remind yourself that you are love, you love yourself. And when you love yourself, others can love you big.
Yeah.
Another one of my Sherryisms. Out love you, right? That's another one of my things. To the degree to which you love yourself will be the degree to which other people can love you. So if you're like, ooh, I can't stand myself, I hate myself. When people say things like that, I'm like,
I know.
I can't even like you.
I know.
They can't like you because you don't like you.
Yeah.
You know, and that's a really important fundamental thing to get into first, is that self-love. It's why it's so important. It will color everything in your life, your relationships, your work. You will be the person nobody wants to be partnered with at work. They won't want to sit with you at the lunch table, all those things.
Yeah.
Like, you got to mind your mind and get yourself back on that I love me track.
Yeah. And that, my friend, is where I think people that listen to you can certainly benefit from staying in touch and following you. How would we do that as we kind of wind down? Let us know, you know, how we can do that, and maybe some upcoming things that you have that.
Sure. So you can always find me on social media at Sherri Leopold, but you can connect with me at sherrileopold.com. That's one of the places where you'll always find everything I'm doing, whether I'm doing courses, or you can find out more about the Wow Warrior platform that I have with the magazine and the television show and the award program, all those things. Everything I do is based in self-love. How can I help you stand up and stand out as the unrepeatable miracle that you are? How can I get you to stand in your own personal power? That is my mission in life, and I love helping you go farther, faster.
And everything fits into conversations with Geoff and the conversations we have with ourselves about ourselves.
Yes.
You know, so as we come to an end here, what parting words can you share with us that you haven't already? I mean, I got pages of notes once again.
Well, you know what, Geoff, I think this is what I would leave you with is, you know, you're 1 in 8 billion in this planet. I want you to own that power, own that uniqueness. Remember that you are a one of a kind on this planet. Nobody can deliver a message like you can. Nobody can work like you can. Nobody can be a partner in a relationship like you can, because you are unique to yourself. 100%. Go be you, and go be you in love with you, because the world will fall open at your feet.
Wow. Woo. Well, I'm sorry this has to come to an end. I tell you what, it's been fantastic in so many ways, Sherri. So I really appreciate you taking the extra time today to allow us to present you to our audience. So many blessings to you, and look forward to having you back on the show again.
Thank you so much.
All right, great job. See you later. Wow, what did I tell you, right? I mean, so many things, and I'm just going to leave you with this because she said it. She said so many, but anchor words. We all know what an anchor is, right? We go out, we on a rowboat, we throw the anchor over the boat so it keeps us there. Ooh. So what words are you using that keep you stuck in the middle of opportunity, in the middle of new relationships, in the middle of health opportunities, business, all those things? What anchor are you using? And she also gave you some tools that you can pull up the anchor and drop down another one, right? But we got to keep moving forward. So we don't want to live a life anchored down by what we say. The greatest sales job that you can do in this time on this planet is the sales job with yourself, like she talked about. The most important voice that goes on in your head is your voice. So I challenge you, be careful of words that are anchoring you on or propelling you forward. And listen to me when I say this as I wrap up. We're going to have some things going on this year that are going to help you stay inspired, stay empowered, so that you can really change the conversation you're having with yourself about yourself. So join us for a 20,000 member push where we can impact people all over the globe with your support. I ask you to share this show with 10 people that you know, and then ask them to share this show with 10 people that you know. And drop some love in here about our guests. I know she dropped some things in there that you can use right now today whenever you hear this message. So go be great. Don't drop the anchor. Pick it up, put it in the boat, baby. Put some air in your sails and change that conversation you're having with yourself about yourself. Stay tuned for the next show. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.